Good morning, good morning, good morning. How are you feeling? How are you doing today? So welcome back to my kitchen. This video, I am getting ready to make a smoothie for myself, but I'm gonna share the ingredients that I'm going to use in the smoothie, but first let me tell you what the topic is about. For today, I'm going to be sharing with you how you can become healthier even without changing what you eat or exercise. Now you may be like, what, Beth? I thought what I ate and exercise were really good things for me to pay attention to. And yes, I want to make that very, very, very clear. What we put in our bodies matters, and exercise is very important. So I'm not saying to have a sedentary life, sitting on your couch with your feet up, eating potato chips, drinking soda, and doing all sorts of unhealthy eating, okay? That's not going to actually bring you health. But there is something that a lot of people are not talking about, and that is how our emotional health actually is a key to having good physical health, even good financial health, even good relationship health. Now, I'm gonna share with you a moment about my book, all right? There's this book, I'll just share the title right now. It's called Alkalize or Die. It's pretty dramatic. The title definitely caught my attention. It's by Dr. Theodore A. Baruti. Now, this book, I believe, is out of print. I'm going to read you an excerpt from this that will tell you and prove that it's not just about what you eat, and it's not just about exercise. Of course, the foods and, movement, our bodies are made to move, all right, and stretch. Oh, actually, that feels really good. Hold on, let me just take a moment. All right, I'm back on track. So these are very good things to pay attention to, but our emotional health is going to directly impact our physical health. So, this morning I'm getting ready to have all these really good things. I'm gonna be putting some coconut milk in my smoothie. I've got a couple different kinds of dates. I love dates. Really great for energy, right? I've got some maple syrup. Maple syrup is really good for brain health and helping to keep us from developing dementia. That's what some studies have shown. I've got some key lime. Yes, I have organic raspberries. I need to go shopping. I've got some organic wild blueberries. Wild blueberries have actually been proven in studies, from my understanding, to kind of actually take some toxins out of our brain, to detoxify our brain, so they're super good. I've got some baby bananas, yes. And they're nice and sweet and good. I've got spices I'm gonna be pulling out in a minute. Some cinnamon that I found in an Indian store in Maryland. I love the size of the container. I eat cinnamon like it's going out of style, y'all. And then I have ginger, and in this little container I have some clove, which is really good antiseptic, really, really great for our bodies. So I'm gonna be putting all of these things in, right? Doesn't matter if I eat this smoothie every day though. Every day, and I eat everything else to be plant-based. Here's the thing. And now I'm gonna get to the book, back to the book. My health is not going to be the greatest if I'm not emotionally in a good place. So now in his book, Alkalize or Die, on page 163, he starts off, it's chapter 26, he starts off the first paragraph by saying, all emotions, thoughts, and feelings of whatever kind are felt in the physical body. Those which are inharmonious produce acid reactions. Consequently, the degree of acidity produced is directly proportional to these counterproductive energies. Intense emotion is not wrong in itself, but to hold on stubbornly to it always creates more acidity, leading to illness and pain. So when we are holding on, basically what he's saying is when we are holding on to all sorts of negative emotions or intense emotions, could even be a overly intense long-term suspended of anything, right? Good or bad. He gives a list here, life events that can create intense emotions, right? Death of a spouse, of course, and divorce or marital separation. Those things are very negative. But he also, you know, they can be very painful, really, I should say. But here, marriage or marital reconciliation or pregnancy, these things we think of as positive, healthy, exciting life events, but these actually, marriage ranks as number 7 on social readjustment rating scales. And when we're emotionally readjusting ourselves, there's a lot of intense emotion that's felt, and it can actually create stress in our bodies. And when we're not releasing it properly, when we're just like holding on to it, we're actually creating acidity in our bodies, which results in things like pain or illness, all different types of illnesses, right? So things like what we may be thinking is not that big of a deal, like unforgiveness towards someone who has hurt us. And I'm specifically pointing out unforgiveness because this is something, forgiveness is something that we actually have to create a lifestyle around, because almost daily someone or something is going to offend you. Someone's going to have a different opinion. Someone's going to say something that rubs you the wrong way. Whatever it is, someone may intentionally or unintentionally do something that hurts you in a big way or a small way. But how are we going to release that offense, right? And as a Christian confidence coach, one of the things that I focus in on is forgiveness for this very reason, because it is so key, it is so pivotal in our health, in leading a healthy life, in our bodies being physically healthy. I lost the page in this book, but there's a point where he talks about how if we eat when we're angry, if we eat all the foods that he recommends in here, all the alkaline foods, and if you're not familiar with alkaline foods, it's just like how base or acidic, or you know, where the food is on the scale, right? He talks about even if we're eating, you know, well, if we're angry, our bodies, the emotions in our bodies actually takes that food that we're digesting and turns it into acidic. So dates, for example, are alkaline. But if I am all of these things on my countertop, like the coconut water, the blueberries, all of these things are alkaline. But if I am sipping on my smoothie and I am pissed off at someone, and I'm telling myself as I'm sipping my smoothie, I'm telling myself a story about, you know, something that happened to me earlier in the day, or something that someone did to me last week or last year or 30 years ago. Well, my body is creating all of this stress. I'm getting myself worked up inside, and it's turning my food into acid, which lowers my immunity, lowers my defenses, my ability to fight off any type of anything that I might breathe in the air, or even things like cancers or heart diseases, right? You know, there's other research, plenty of other research that's been done that says people who choose to forgive, and like they really forgive, you know, that not just in the mind where they mentally made the decision, but even in their, all the way down to their heart, you know, they've emotionally forgave this person, that they have less anxiety, less depression, less heart disease, less cancers, right? it's not a 100% guarantee that you're not going to have some sort of health ailment, right? And there's all sorts of different factors that make up our health. But forgiveness is something that you can do, that you can give. Forgiveness has the word give. It's almost like a gift you give to yourself, a gift of healing that you give to yourself, right? For releasing, and so that you are really in a place physically, chemically, the chemicals in your body become less acidic and more alkaline. Therefore, you're going to just have much more of a healthy life, physically healthy life to enjoy. My grandmother used to say, it doesn't matter if you have millions as long as you have your health, right? There's another common saying in our society that says health is wealth, and it's so true, right? And the best way we can give ourselves health, of course you want to eat in a healthy way, of course you want to exercise. That is not my point for you to stop, paying attention to your food and stop paying attention to your movement routines, right? But your emotional state. So that is going to bring you health. It is like a whole book. He talks, I believe this book is out of print, like I said earlier, but he talks about all sorts of things in here. He gives all these different types of foods. He gives all these different types of wellness tips, spiritual tips. You and I, we are body, soul, and spirit. We have all parts of us. And so when we're working on healing and having a happy life, we have to take care of our body, our soul, and our spirit. And you may be saying things like, right now to yourself, well, that sounds good, Beth, that's great, but I have done this. I have done what you've said, and I forgave, so-and-so. But after forgiving them, they hurt me again. And so I don't really get the whole point of forgiveness, because you can forgive someone and they can still turn around and do you dirty again. And you're right, that can absolutely happen. But when I work with people, when I coach people, I help them put systems in place and put things in place so that as they forgive, they're also able to guard their hearts. We want to stay in a place where we are safe. We want to protect ourselves, protect our hearts, protect our emotions, but also be open and generously forgive. So it is kind of a little bit of balance, and that's where the coaching aspect can be very important, because without it, you can just forgive and forgive and forgive. And yes, of course, we're supposed to, God's, I forget, one of the disciples asked Jesus in the Bible, like, how many times should I forgive? And he's like, 70 times 7. And it's not like literally you calculate out all the math, because then you would have never forgiven someone. Oh, well, you're on 110 of my forgiveness, and you only have like 300 more times where I'll forgive you. Then you're keeping score, so you haven't really forgiven. So Jesus was basically saying, we have to forgive continually, right? Again, he was talking about a lifestyle, but how do you do that and still feel safe? And how do you be vulnerable and loving, but still protect yourself? And that is the tricky part, and that's where we need to learn these things, and we need to learn the tools, and we need to learn the strategies for how to, be able to have this lifestyle of forgiveness, but also have this lifestyle where we are safe, and not just putting ourselves out there to be a doormat. You are not a doormat. I am not a doormat. Kindness is not weakness, although our society has taught that. So what does that all look like for you specifically in your life stories and your relationship stories and your future and your health, your physical health and your emotional health? So what I do when I coach people is I have, if you are not aware of it, I have a 20-day forgiveness journal that I published last year, April of 2022. So when I do specifically forgiveness coaching with clients, they get a copy of the journal. For 20 days, they go through the journal day by day. Once a week, we meet. We go over what, they thought any of their reflections that they want to share out. And then I also have built out a curriculum that goes through what forgiveness is, what forgiveness is not, how to begin writing new stories. And it's basically a 4-week curriculum. It's a month-long curriculum. It goes in and kind of adds more depth, more support to the person going through the journal. And then also I've added in pieces to the curriculum that help people with grief, because sometimes we have to grieve our past. Sometimes we have to grieve the loss of a relationship. Even if that relationship is reconciled, of course, depending on what the hurt was, even the new story that's being written, while it may be an amazing, beautiful story, you know, there is sometimes grief for what was lost. So some things for grief, also some anger release, because oftentimes anger is an emotion that we feel is very commonly connected with unforgiveness. I know myself, when I was working through my own unforgiveness situation, anger, holding on to anger was my defense, right? I felt like that was keeping me safe. Not forgiving him was protecting me, because the idea of forgiving someone and showing love and loving someone, having love and good intentions towards someone who hurt me, was a terrifying, terrifying feeling. And so as a result, I have put in to the curriculum some anger release as well. So it's really a powerful 4-week or month worth of coaching that I do specifically really to help people be healthy, you know, in their physical health as well as their relationships, and just enjoy their life. We are meant to enjoy our lives. And so if this interests you, if you'd like to learn a little bit more about me as a coach and my coaching program specifically for forgiveness, I'm going to be putting a link below this video that will allow you to book a free 30-minute chat with me, and we can pretty much make a outline or a plan for your next steps forward and what those would look like. And we can chat to see how or if I would be the best coach, the best mentor for you to work through things on your forgiveness journey. And yes, so let's chat. You can also send me an email at light@levelupwithbeth.com. That's another way you can get in touch with me if you want to get in touch with me that way as well. But yes, this book here is very powerful on how to create and maintain a chemical balance in our body. And in order to do that for physical health, we have to have healthy emotions, right? We can't be just holding on to things and staying intense all the time. And sometimes even we have kind of pushed things aside. The emotion or the experience was so intense, we just don't want to deal with it. And we just kind of stuff it and shove it. And so it's just like there under the surface, right? And it's going to come out some way or another. And it can come out in some very, very serious chronic health problems. Again, like I was saying earlier, research has shown this. So anxiety and depression are two things, right, that are very chronic and very painful for people to have to deal with. Anxiety can be almost debilitating, right? Now, again, we want to be able to heal these things. So just to wrap up, I want to be very clear, and then I'm going to end this video. I'm going to make my smoothie. Be sure to eat healthy. Be sure to exercise, okay? I don't want anyone to be like, Beth said I don't have to pay attention to what I eat and I don't have to exercise. What I am saying is you can do those things, but if your emotional health is not in a good place, in a comfortable place, it's not in a healthy place, then you're going to be doing damage to your body, even if you exercise, even if you are eating right, because your intense emotional state of anger or unforgiveness or even other things, you know, that maybe good positive events like I shared earlier of marriage or whatever, but they're still kind of like creating some sort of stress, you know, with that adjustment level, right? Our body will do what our body's going to do, which is to try to protect us in all sorts of things. So it's going to actually be turning for whatever reason. I'm not a scientist, I'm not a neuroscientist, I'm not a doctor, so I can't tell you all the science behind it, but I can tell you that as a result, our body's going to start turning even those good foods that we're eating and, you know, all of that other wonderful things we're doing into like acids into our bodies, and we don't want that. So it's super important that we flourish in life, that our spirit is nurtured, our heart is nurtured, that we comfort those things that are paining us and heal them. So yes, and our emotional health is completely and totally linked to our physical health. So let's get emotionally healthy so that you can have that physical health, that relationship health, even financial health. When I chose to forgive and I chose to move into that lifestyle and just 100% give forgiveness, it actually increased the amount of money I was earning in my business. Why? Because I wasn't storming around life with this dark cloud over my head, and I was more open and just free in my relationships. And of course, people are going to want to do business with someone who is comfortable with themselves. And that's also something else why, as a confidence coach, I am very focused also on forgiveness, because researchers have also shown that people are more confident who have also chosen to forgive. Forgiveness and confidence goes together. Why? Because as you start to feel good about yourself, your confidence goes up, right? So sometimes we can just put on a pretty dress and we feel good about how we look in that moment. But what happens when we take off the pretty dress or we take off the dapper suit, if you're a man, right? What happens when we don't have those masks of like, I mean, I have lipstick on. There's nothing wrong with lipstick, but what happens when I don't have this lipstick on? How do I feel about myself? I should still feel confident. I should still feel happy with myself. And a lot of that happiness and joy comes from forgiving ourselves and forgiving others, you know, so that beauty, yes, these things are adornments. They accentuate our beauty and everything, but as a makeup artist once or often says, who I have worked with in the past, Shanika Pickens, like beauty from within, inner beauty shining out, right? Because we're feeling good about ourselves, we're in a good place, it's just gonna come out and we're going to be confident. So there won't have to be the fake it till you make it if you're feeling confident already, because you're feeling, you know, good about the choices that you are making in your life. So yes, let's chat, let's chat, let's chat. Again, I'm putting the link below this video so that you can reach out to me and book a free one-to-one 30-minute chat with me to see how and if I can help you on your journey to having a happier and healthier life this coming year. All right, enjoy the rest of your day. Peace.